When talking about some of the most iconic watches with a rich history spanning over many decades, it's impossible not to name Explorer, a name from 1953 and continuing to maintain and preserve its iconic looks with 369 dial for all the 70 years it's been in production. While originally released in the size of 36mm, it never actually looked wrong or incorrect in that classic case size. Hence the reason, even today, when we say Rolex Explorer, it is still available in the original size of 36mm. However, it was actually discontinued previously in the favor of the popular 39mm Explorer, which did its run for over 12 years, until it was also discontinued to return it in the original size of 36mm in 2021. And in all these 70 years of its production, the Explorer has only existed in one size, that is, in a case size of 36mm for about 60 years, and in the size of 39mm for just over 10 years. Now, while there is no such thing as the 70th anniversary in the watch world, if we connect the dots, Rolex might have just celebrated the same this year and has given us this watch in the all-new size of 40mm. What's also different this time from previously is that the production of 40mm Explorer hasn't come at the cost of 36mm model. And for the first time in the last 70 years, we now have Explorer in two sizes coexisting with each other, the classic and the original 36mm size, and then the modern and the all-new 40mm case size as released this year by Rolex. A size that is always considered to be the sweet spot for many watch enthusiasts and a large community of collectors. So how does that supposedly perfect 40mm case size works with this new Explorer? The watch comes with a glossy and jet black dial, similar to the shade and finish as you see in Rolex Submariner or GMT. And then there's iconic 369 looks that make this watch the true Explorer, regardless of its size, the case, and the aesthetical design elements. What's interesting here is that it is an identical watch with exactly the same movement as is offered in the 36mm model. So the difference here is really only just the case size, which is bigger, bolder, and more substantial, and then also the bracelet, which is wider in this reference compared to the 36mm model. Speaking about the size, measured at the outer extremity of the bezel, the watch is only 38.6mm. So while Rolex market it as a 40mm watch, the face of the watch is really under 39mm. Why is it still marketed as 40mm is because if you measure the case from 2 to 8 o'clock position, the watch technically measures at 40.2mm. But that's because the case sides have a curved profile that doesn't really show from the top, but does add to the size and slightly to the substance. The size of the crystal, or let's say the size of the dial, is 32.7mm. I quoted in my review of Explorer 36 that I have linked on the top right corner of your screen that the size of the crystal was 30.2mm. So while you would think that the new Explorer 40 looks 4 sizes of 4mm bigger than the 36mm model, it is only 2.5mm larger in size and doesn't really look all that big. The watch maintains its case thickness as the movement is the same as 36mm model, and it wears incredibly well on the wrist. My wrist size for reference is 6.5mm, and while I do not have as such large wrists, I think the new Explorer 40 looks and wears beautifully on the wrist and doesn't really look all that big. My wristband is 55mm, and the watch with lug-to-lug of 46.4mm wears very easily on my wrist. For reference, this lug-to-lug is 1mm shorter than the Rolex Submariner 40 ceramic or the latest Submariner 41. Another difference I personally like in the new Explorer 40 is a wider bracelet. I quoted in my review of Explorer 36 that the bracelet width at 19mm was a touch too narrow for my personal taste and narrower than what you see in DJ36. Yet the Explorer 40 comes with a 21mm wider bracelet, and to me it works beautifully and elegantly. As Explorer is also a professional watch, it also comes equipped with flip lock and a welded Rolex logo on the clasp for aesthetical purposes. And then there's a 5mm extension link too, in addition to micro adjustments in the clasp. The bracelet tapers down beautifully to 16.4mm and the width of the clasp is 18.5mm. And you really can't fault its aesthetics, dimensions or overall looks. Rolex really know how to make watches, and if you thought that the all-new 40mm Explorer might be a touch too big for you, you might just have missed the secret ingredient. That is, the face of the watch is still under 39mm, while the substance is at the sweet spot of 40mm, to give you that perfect win-win combination. Rolex really know how to do watches, and with this release again, they might have just hit the home run.